We've got a giveaway winner and a new cast on, and I made you something. Hey friends, I'm Jennifer, and welcome to the Real Knitting Podcast. I think this is episode 17. Life has been wild. You will understand why in a little while. Why, I don't know what episode I'm on. I barely know what planet I'm on these days. Anyway, let's hop right into the knitting. Once again, I'm at my old yoga studio and I'm filming for my back care for knitters and crafters course. More about that later, but that's the blue wall, etc. Okay, works in progress. I have been working on the wonderful WALLABY. Wonderful WALLABY. This one is the grown-up version. There's a kids one too. And it's a super cute sweatshirt. Here's the inside. So a little hoodie with like a crossover placket and a belly pocket. And it's a simple raglan. And I'm teaching this one at Yarntiques in Johnson City as like a first sweater pattern. And I'm really having fun with it. You guys saw, I think you saw, there's the body. It doesn't look like it's gonna be quite roomy enough for me. Like it'd be tight, but I did a gauge swatch and I swear y'all, it came out perfect. 18 stitches and 4 inches. So I'm just gonna trust my gauge and see what happens. I've of course got it on my Licky copper needles, and some of you have been asking about if the coppers are changing color, and they're starting to. I'm gonna see if the camera can even pick it up. These are my 6s, and somehow they're my most used of this particular one. And they are starting to change color, and they're almost getting that rainbow appearance that copper gets, but they're not. I haven't noticed anything rubbing off on any of my projects yet. I will be your guinea pig. I will let you know. Anyway, so this is a Noro cotton. Here we go. And I love, a lot of the Noro stuff is really like stripy, wildly patterned, and that's just not me. I know I won't wear it if I knit it. And so this is a much more toned down Noro. And it's a cotton, and of course I will link it all in the description, but it's this dark background I think helps ground it for me. It's still a little bit more stripy in certain places than I prefer. See this right here? I much prefer this, like more evenly distributed. I don't know. Anyway, that is like the body up to the split in the sleeves. And I may end up doing just a little bit more. I know it's gonna grow some, but slouchy sweatshirts are amazeballs. So here's the pocket. It's got garter here on the sides. So there's that part of it. And then I have been working on the sleeve, and I need y'all's opinion. Here's what it looks like in the skein. Gorgeous little flecks of bright colors. And I have put my sweater on, my sleeve onto 4 DP ends. Now, if you follow me on Instagram, you may know that I'm not real big on this particular combination right here. So I have these are size 8, these fatter carbons, Knit Picks, Knitter's Pride carbons. I will link, because you know I love my carbons. But I've not used real fat ones or thicker ones than my tiny sock ones. But I thought, you know, I want to try this. I love my other carbons, and I got these at SAF. Sorry, picking up a stitch I dropped there. Got these at SAF, and I'm not loving it. And I don't know, I think it's probably just the needle and yarn combo. With this being cotton, it doesn't slip and slide a whole lot, and I think it's just getting a lot of drag on this center portion of these needles. Anyway, traditional DPNs, and I think I did about 3 inches of a cuff, and then started the increases. Now, I left out either 1 or 2 increases because I know that if I do all the increases in the pattern, it's gonna be too big for me in my upper arm. All right, I have skinny, well, yep, I'm mid-40s, there you go. I have skinny upper arms though, and so I don't want it to be really big in the arms, so I actually left out a decrease or 2 there, and I'll have to do a little bit of math when it comes to doing the raglan, but I can do that. Anyway, here's my question for you. Is this sleeve too wide down by my wrist, or does it look good? Like, I have all of this sort of hanging. And as a middle-aged woman, anything hanging off of my arms, as you saw earlier, is a little disturbing. So, I just called myself middle-aged. I don't know if I've done that before. Anyway, I am. So, should I rip back to the cuff and maybe start my decreases a little later and do fewer so that it's a little more fitted? Or do you think I should leave it with the baggier sleeves? Remember, it's gonna grow even from here. I don't know. I'm leaning toward ripping back. What do you guys think? Does it look sloppy? If so, is sloppy bad? What I'm afraid of, okay, here's what I'm afraid of. Because my arms are so skinny and my torso is more voluptuous than ever before, what I'm afraid of is that the sleeves will be real loose and then the body will be tight and that'll look funny. I don't know. What do you think? I often really like a tight sleeve, but I know I might wear stuff under. I don't know. With my hormones, y'all, I'm not able to wear the sweaters like I used to be. It's sad. Anyway, there's that. That is living in my gorgeous ball mason jar bag that I got, and it's huge. Look how big that is. It's huge. That I got from Kay at Bead Sisters when we went to SAF, and I did a whole video about SAF. If you missed that, check it out. I'll link it. But Kay is a great bag maker, and she dyes yarn. And I saw this mason jar on her podcast, and I will also link to her podcast in the description, and absolutely fell in love with it. And I said, please save me one of those. So it's rare that I fall in love with a project bag. I really like them, but to get me to spend enough money to get one is a challenge. I'd rather spend my money on yarn, honestly. But this had to come home with me because Southerners, y'all. Okay, so there's all of that. And she is living in there, and I'm teaching a class on this. And my students, all of my students are very new beginning knitters that I taught to knit. And so we're taking it a little bit slower than what I kind of had envisioned. And that is fine. We can extend our class. We can do whatever. Yarntiques is really easy to work with. Candace, she's great. And but as long as I stay ahead of my students, I'm good. So I'm not worried about getting way behind ripping out that sleeve because I know that we still have to do, like they have to do the body and the pocket and everything. And so I'm not freaking out about that. My sock, my purse sock, is living in this precious little bag that one of my students made for me, Heather. She watches the podcast, and Heather, I love them, and I wish you could sell them. Maybe that can be your retirement job because Heather does an amazing job. Anyway, super cute little lined drawstring bag, and I have in it my bamboo pop sock. Here's the one that I finished. I don't have my sock blockers here at the studio. But I do a top-down sock. This is Bamboo Pop sock in the color Overcast, and it's self-striping, so I didn't do any of this fanciness, right? But I do a top-down, sort of a sock formula, and I like heel flap and gusset because that fits my foot really well, and I know it fits my mom's foot real well, and I think it fits my dad's too, because I do some measurements. Anyway, so top down, heel flap and gusset, and I love Ive Partridge heel. Let's see if the camera will get that. It's just pretty. And once you learn how to read your stitches, once you can kind of see what you did on the previous rows, then Ive Partridge is no more challenging than like the slip stitch heel where you knit one, slip one all the way across, because it's just, on the next row, you just move it over one. So you have this sort of beautiful diamond effect. And then I do just a traditional toe like that, and I Kitchener at the end. So that's kind of my sock recipe. If you guys want, I can write it up at some point. It's not gonna happen before Christmas, just FYI, not happening. But the purse sock is growing slowly but surely. This is gonna be a Christmas present, but I can't say who because she might be watching on here. But there we go, top down. There's my flap and my gusset, and I think, did I miss a stitch? I did something weird, but I don't think I actually dropped a stitch there. I don't know. See, that's what I'm looking at. It's weird. I don't know what that is. I am not going back. I might check on the inside and see if I dropped a stitch, but I'm not going back. And I typically work on 3 DPNs. These are size 0s of the carbons. And now that I've turned the heel, I'm just gonna chug along on it till it's time for the toe. So Bamboo Pop Sock Overcast. Also, I wanna point out these precious little scissors. Look how tiny. Look at these tiny little tips. They're so cute. So I bought these from Stunning String a few staffs ago. I have no concept of time here. COVID has just totally done me in. But I love these little things because they're really sharp. I'm gonna look and see if I can find where to link to these. But I bought them from Stunning Strings when I went to SAF. Southeastern Animal Fiber Festival, if you're new around here. Speaking of which, if you're new around here, I just realized I didn't introduce myself. I'm Jennifer. This channel is called Real Knitting. This is the podcast. I throw up all kinds of knitting content here, but I also am a yoga therapist. And so I'm working on some yoga for makers and crafters, very specific offerings. So we'll talk more about that. But anyway, so there's my sweet little socks. Okay, I had to go away for a minute, and I hope that the sound is not too distracting. I had to open a door. It is the middle of November. I'm in short sleeves and capri length yoga pants, and I'm starting to sweat inside. I know my lights get a little warm, but not much. It's just, fall in the South is weird. So we're really not all that southern. We're a very mountainous region. But this past week, it's been in the high 70s. I don't know what that is in Celsius, but high 70s at Fahrenheit at Thanksgiving-ish is, it's weird to me, but it happens here quite often, really. Anyway, enough weather. All right, I have one more whip. This one is not knitting, but it is fiber, so we're gonna throw it in there and let's just see. I have been working on a locker hooking project. I learned locker hooking when I went to retreat. I learned it from Joanne Strouch, used to be Strouch Fiberworks. They've sold it since then. But Joanne taught a class in locker hooking. And I was really intrigued because it's different than the latch hooking we did as a kid. I remember doing that and it wasn't, I don't know, It just didn't, it didn't really excite me. So I took her class. We did a little, I would show it to you, but I've already given it to my mom. It was like a little centerpiece pot holder kind of deal, maybe. And it was really fall colors, and I enjoyed making it. And one of the things I really liked about it was that I could use up roving. I don't like stash roving or anything, but I often find it in colors or even textures that I'm just crazy about. And also, she said that we can use fabric, which also intrigued me because sewing was my first love, and even though I've given away a buttload of fabric, vintage, new, everything, I still have quite a bit that I saved because I was like, oh, I might actually use that. And it's still a rather large tote in the basement. Let's not talk about it. We don't discuss the size of a woman's stash, whether it be yarn or fabric, right? Okay, so I get to use, if you don't know what roving is, here's some beautiful blue. I believe this one is from Done Spun, and I will link all of these dyers in the description. But roving is this form of fiber, and this is what spinners will take, and they will pull off little bits of it and they will spin it into wool. So this is like pre-wool, right? And I've never been able to do anything with it because I don't spin, and I'm not going to spin anytime soon. But when I learned that you could put it in locker hooking, here's what it does. Let's see if you can see. Yeah, so these are just like 3 different yarns, but this is yarn and roving. This is yarn and roving. This is yarn and roving, and then a couple of different yarns. This is like a sparkly yarn in there. I'm so excited about this. Okay, so this is gonna be a chair pad, which will be nice because yesterday I was on the computer for so long that my butt hurt. Nice, soft, squishy chair pad just for me. My husband says he does not like the green, this row right here. He says he doesn't like that, or he doesn't like it with the pinkish, purplish, but I'm still happy about it, and I'm not ripping it back. So I'm gonna continue doing blues and greens and purples all the way into the center. So while we were there, I saw Joanne's, she's making a yoga mat like this, like a yoga rug like this. And it's just in stripes. I don't think I took a picture of it. I wish I did to show you. I'll check. It'll be here if I did. But it's like graduating colors. It's a gradient. It's a gradient of colors. And she's moving like pinks to yellows, pinks to orangey to yellow. It's stunning. And it's just rows across like this. Whereas this one is like outside to inside. Hers is just rows. Oh my goodness. It's amazing. That might be my next locker hooking project. Don't expect it anytime soon because it hurts my hands. It hurts my hands and it hurts up into my neck. So I need to really be aware of the ergonomics of how I'm sitting and how I'm pulling and all that sort of stuff. And I also think that I use too much fiber to fit in each of these little holes because I have to really kind of yank to get it out of there. So I can't do very much at a time. Like night before last, I sat down, I wanted to do some, and I think I finished this one floofy row on this side, and then started here on this tighter just yarn row all the way around and went down to here and down into the corner almost. And that was kind of when my locker yarn ran out. And so I had to stop and like do yoga and take care of myself a little bit. But you do it with this tool, and it is a locker hooking tool. I will link to a kit below because I love this. And it's got an eye, like a like a big fat needle, but on the other end, it is a crochet hook. And I've got some local friends wanting a class, so I'm probably going to get together a little class, probably the first part of the new year, so maybe like January or February. I don't know. If you're local, let me know what kind of time frame would work for you and if you'd be interested. Carrie Jarman has some roving that we can use. She is Junebug Farms. I'll link her below. But all of the fibers in here either came off of the free table at our retreat, which is this gorgeous blue, which is totally my color, or they came from Carrie at Junebug, Louise at Nuttall Fiber Arts, which I think is this pretty purpley one. And then this down here is from this pinkish roving. You can see it better right here. The pinkish roving is from Done Spun. And then I also have like rug wool strips and rug like punch needle wool. And that is from Pandora's Yarn. I'm really excited about this. I'm ready to have it done, but I'm just kind of taking my time because my health is more important than a craft. I know that's hard to tell by how obsessive I am about my crafting, but there it is. Okay, so that is all my works in progress. So now I have a new cast on, and I thought, oh, this will be so simple. We're coming up on Christmas. I'm just gonna throw together a basic hat. I have all this Malabrigo yarn. It is called Dusty Olive. Gorgeous, gorgeous. And I thought, I'm just gonna throw together a hat. It's gonna be super easy. I cast it on, and then I was going along on my Knit Picks rainbows, and they came unscrewed. My interchangeable set came unscrewed, and it's loose right now because I don't have a little tightener thing with me. If this has ever happened to you, you know how infuriating it is. I think I lost 12 stitches. I was able to get most of them back on, but these two guys right here, somehow I missed them in the middle. So I don't know. Is it worth it to me to cast back on, or should I just pick them up as I go back? I don't know, but I know that I'm totally annoyed, and I'm not going to knit with this again until I can get home and really tighten down the screws on these needles. Not cool, Knit Picks. No, I can't blame them. I may not have tightened them down well enough, so I can't blame them. But it would be nice to blame somebody else, right? Anyway, this is living in my new bag from my sweet friend Ashley, the Stitcher. And if you know, you know. With that right there, yeah, from The Witcher. And it is by Pine and Pearl, and there's their little tag. And it was so precious of her to send this to me, and made my geeky little heart happy. All right. So I didn't have a ton of knitting content today, but I do want to show you something that I have found to be really valuable to my knitting. Now, you all probably already know this. You probably already have one or two or four. But if you don't, you might want to order one for Christmas, or like send the link to your significant other and say, hey, this is what I need. I thought these were so expensive, but they've gotten better, and so they've gotten less expensive. This is, I think it's called a Huggie Light. It's battery powered. The batteries are in here. As you can see, these arms are pretty bendable, and you can put it around your neck while you knit. Now, I don't need this all the time. My eyes are going bad, but they're not, but light isn't the factor. I'm just not able to see up close. So I can put this on while I'm in bed. Here's my glasses. Yeah. I can put this on while I'm in bed and turn it on and have light directly on the subject. And I can sit and knit and do my thing and not have the overhead lights on. I am a big fan. I don't sleep very well. And so I'm a big fan of creating a nighttime environment. Oh, they have multiple levels. I almost forgot. They have multiple levels of brightness. There we go. There. I'm a big fan of creating a nighttime environment to kind of help soothe me into sleeping, because as you can tell, I'm a rather high energy human being. And so I try to keep the lights turned down, and I try to keep the sounds turned down at night. You know, once my boys are in bed, I try to keep the overhead lights off unless it's something that I really can't see. And so the Huggie Light is awesome. I can just have my side lamp beside me, which ordinarily is not enough light to knit by, and then have my little very pointed Huggie Light. I love it. Anyway, all right. Oh, I know what you want to know about. You want to know about the giveaway. Last time, so 2 weeks ago, I podcast every other week. 2 weeks ago, I said that I was going to give out this Pandora's yarn that I purchased at Salve. And this is the Moonlight colorway, and I love it. To me, it's masculine, but it can also be feminine. It's just very neutral but interesting. There's little pops of caramel in there, very green, some grays, maybe even a little blue. I don't know, but it is called Zuckerman Place Charlotte, and it's 90% wool, 10% nylon. It's a little bit rusticy. That's a word. It's a little bit like, I wouldn't necessarily want it against my neck, but for socks, I think this is perfect. And I did a giveaway, and you just had to comment down below. You had to say something with the word moonlight. And we had several comments, and I drew from random.org, and I got Noreen Lou. Noreen Lou, I don't know if those are 2 words, but Noreen Lou on YouTube. Contact me. You can message me. You can find me over on Instagram, whatever makes it easier for you. My email is jennifer@jenniferchisholm.com. Any of those things, let me know your address, and I'll send these out to you. And you can make some new socks. Maybe you can make socks before Christmas. I am not fast enough with socks to knit a whole pair between now and Christmas. I would love to say, yeah, I'll just whip out some socks, but the socks are not really that interesting to me. I like the feel in my hands, but I don't usually work on them at home. I usually just work on my socks like in Carline and that sort of thing, and so it takes me a really long time to do a pair of socks. I'm not doing a whole lot of Christmas knitting this year. I am finishing that pair of socks. We'll see about that hat that's in timeout. I don't know. I'm kind of mad at it. But I may knock out a couple of hats, but this is not going to be a big Christmas knitting year, in part because I'm really not spending a lot of time knitting. And I'm not doing a lot of knitting because I have been working like night and day trying to get back care for knitters and crafters ready to go. It's an online course, and it's going to have yoga classes. It's going to have anatomy education. It's got this section, and this is really where the gold is, right? It's got this section on posture. If you can learn that 8-minute posture session and really ingrain that into your body, then your body will change in wonderful ways. You'll be stronger in your back. You'll be a lot more balanced, and you won't have neck and back and headache pain like before. Not promising miracles, but I do really believe that posture is the key to spinal health. So that's what that is. But I made you something as a gift, because back care yoga is kind of like a big big undertaking. So I will be charging for that. But I made, for those of you who are not ready to jump in but kind of want to get your feet wet, I have made a mini course, and it's called Mobility Yoga for Crafters. So the mini course is completely in the chair. It's just a few poses to keep your spine, your hips, and your shoulders flexible. I'm going to link it below. I'll make a separate video probably about that, just so everybody knows, get the word out as best I can. But it's a free download. It's got an ebook and quite a bit of video. It's got a 20-minute class in it that you can download and keep forever. Go get it. I'm so excited to put this out in the world. I have been completely obsessed with doing my filming here and getting all the bells and whistles. It's a lot to learn, okay? I'm also coming out with a coaching program that's going to start in January. And this is if you want personalized attention from me. We'll do video consultations. I'll set you up with a program just for you. So that's a whole other thing. And there's such a learning curve to setting up these courses and promoting them and what goes into them. I've just been obsessed. My kids are like, Mom, get off the computer. No, I've really been spending a lot of time with them. I also have coming up soon, I'm going to do a video for it, and we'll see if I get like the whole beautiful spread made or not, but I'm doing a gift guide, and I really want to do a knitting gift guide and a yoga gift guide. We shall see what I can get done, but I know I'm going to do the knitting gift guide because I have a couple of like indie crafters that I want to really feature that you can go and purchase from or send your loved ones there to purchase from you on Etsy and really support indie small businesses. All right, so life and family things. Obviously, I need glasses. So these are my reading glasses. These are my reading glasses, and when I have them on, you get a little glare, but when I have them on, I struggle to see the camera, my phone. And everything back in there is blurry. So like I can't have a conversation really with somebody with my glasses on. And that is so frustrating. So I think I'm about to go and get progressives. And I was talking to my parents about it. And my mom was like, well, we both had glasses our whole lives. Your sister and brother have had glasses their whole lives. How did you think you were going to get away with this? And I was like, because I'm special. I'm special. No, I don't know. Just because I've never had to have glasses, it didn't really occur to me. But my eyes are going downhill pretty quickly. And Mom's like, it's just your age. And I think there was a little like gleam in her eye when she said it. I think she was kind of gleeful. No, that I am getting older. So we kind of got a giggle out of that. Whatever. I still think I'm young. Okay, my youngest, John, we did get him adopted. I'll pop in an adoption picture. I cannot show his face. I will not show my kids' faces. I just don't think it's a safe thing to do, but anyway, I'll pop it up here. And we were so happy to adopt him, and we had a great group of friends and family come and support us and gather around us. It was awesome. The best thing I did was hire a photographer. I'm going to link to my photographer down below. His name is Michael Call. If you are local, get him. He also has a podcast about fishing, so maybe like, I don't know, do y'all fish? Somebody close to you fish? Anyway, I'll link Mike down below, but he did an amazing job, and it just took the stress off of me because I didn't feel like I had to be the one to capture the faces and the joy and all that stuff. But John, we've had the wildest week. So we've been at the doctor 3 different days this week. Today's Friday. I usually podcast on Thursday. This is the best I could do. But John had to go to the endocrinologist and the gastroenterologist. We know that dairy is helping, getting him off dairy is helping him, but he is still in the first percentile growth-wise. And so, I don't know. We're in big discussions about what to do with him next, because he is so tiny, and because his birth family wasn't tiny. The doctors are just aware and wanting to make sure that he can grow normally. My kids have been sick a bunch. They've had, I think 2 weeks ago, they had hand, foot, and mouth I told you guys about, but they've also just had I took James to the doctor Monday or Tuesday, and the doctor's like, yeah, it's just the crud. It's just the crud. So not sure what that means. I think we all have the crud. I was up coughing last night with drainage. It's not really dry here. Like it's raining today, but when I saw somebody mowing the leaves the other day, and it was just this puff cloud of dust behind him. So I think that's what's going on. And I can't believe November is halfway over. It's almost Christmas. I am not ready. Oh my goodness. Are you ready? Seriously? Oh, one more thing. Countdown challenge. The countdown challenge that I'm doing with Bead Sisters. It is hashtag 2023 countdown challenge. And we just challenged everybody. We had 9 weeks when we started it 2 weeks ago. So I guess we're down to 7. And we challenged people to do either big change in their life or like a small change. I know somebody was talking about just reading out of a regular book every day. Somebody else was talking about just knitting or crocheting or doing some kind of craft every day. So it could be a small change. My 2023 challenge countdown was to get this back care for yoga out into the world before January 1st. I'm working so hard at this, but it's happening. It's gonna happen. And my coaching program. Don't forget to go and get your free mobility for crafters video mini course ebook thing. I will definitely link that below, and I hope that it helps you. Let me know all the things. Love you guys. Bye.